Welcome everybody back to another another I don't know what you want to call this one. This is definitely an episode of the Washington Football Maniacs. This is probably going to be a fuss um, episode. Getting our anger out, Brandon. But yeah, so the Washington Commanders defeated once again by one of the worst teams in the league, the New York Giants, who previously, before today, were just 1-5. A team that was honestly beat up and banged up, had most of their offensive line out, had their starting quarterback out. They did have Saquon Barkley in there, but honestly, for the most part, we kept them in check. Say for like a drive or two, but Commanders go down 14-7. They had an opportunity at the end of the game to tie the game up, and Sam Howell could not connect with Jahan Dotson, and so that was pretty much it. So now the Washington Commanders are 3-4. If this coaching staff is not on the hot seat, I don't know what our ownership is paying attention to. But obviously, guys like John Allen voiced his opinion about today. I mean, John, you're not saying anything that us fans have not already been saying for the last 20 plus years. We're tired of, yeah, you're saying you're tired of this has been going on in the last 7. How about the last almost 30 years? We have been
Yeah.
waiting for a championship team. Heck, we've been waiting for a team that can win consistently, that can be in the playoffs consistently and win playoff games. And we have not had that since Joe Gibbs' first tenure. That has been back when I was in my teens and wore a mullet. So, Brandon, I mean, what's next? I mean, I know what's next. We're hosting the Philadelphia Eagles, a team that is likely to be in the Super Bowl. I mean, we're looking at 3-5. 3-5 is staring us in the face, and we still have, I believe, Miami to play, San Francisco to play. We still have Dallas to play twice. We still got to play the Giants again. I mean, obviously that's not a gimme game. So we got games that we're not likely to win going down the stretch. And I was thinking about it, Brandon, before this recording. This team can easily lose 8 games when it's all said and done, and that is being optimistic
Yeah.
to me. That means that they have won 9, but that's not a playoff team. That's a team that made a good run and is sitting home watching the playoffs. But Brandon, I mean, what can they do to fix it? I mean, if you are the owner of the Washington Commanders this week, what are you doing to try to stop the bleeding at this point?
Clean house. Clean house. It's time to start selling. It's time to start firing. I mean, look, you cannot look at this schedule and be optimistic about any daggone game on the schedule. We just let the Bears embarrass us on primetime TV. A team that has not won a game till they met us. The Giants are playing without half their line with a backup quarterback. No disrespect to Tyrod Taylor, has a history of being a starter in Buffalo for many years. Very successful guy with starting experience. But still, really? Oh, my Lord. Where do we start? The coaching staff. Let's start on them. Ron Rivera's done. He's lost the locker room. This whole passive players coach, you're letting the players run all over you, man. You have no control, no discipline. I mean, here's what really pissed me off, Greg. Um, when you're down 14 to nothing and Chase Young gets a sack, yeah, you're celebrating. What are you celebrating, man? And the St. Juice did the same thing. He got a deflection. He's out there celebrating. Really? You're down 14 to nothing. What do you celebrate, man? It's just the fact that you let. All right, let's get on Chase Young. He had a good day. Yeah, but really, you're celebrating down 14 to nothing, right? And this is the same guy that doesn't show up to all the workouts. He does his own workouts, has his own schedule. He has no. I mean, he is not holding anybody accountable. He's letting the players run the locker room. He's lost it. He needs to go. That's it. He needs to go. I don't care if we win the rest of the games on the schedule. He needs to go. He's lost the locker room. There's a difference between being a player's coach and being a pretty much a walkover. He's a walkover. And if you look at the history of dating back to Carolina, out of 1 year where they went 15-1, what has he done? Carolina, he was a 500 sub 500 coach. In DC, what has he done? What has he done? The most successful year was a daggone pandemic year where you faced nothing but backup quarterbacks. And then everybody's tooting the horn like, oh, we about to do something. Jack Del Rio, need to go. The defense is, I mean, yeah, all right. They only gave up 14 points. Okay, fair enough. But the Giants offense is trash. They went down the field, no issues. St. Juice ain't it. He ain't it. Obviously Forbes, he's not playing, but look, that's your first round pick. Your first round pick is no longer playing. What does that say? And then, Kendra Fuller, he's been probably the most consistent guy on the secondary, but then is he really a number one corner? No, he's not. Linebacker is an issue because, Barton went out and Mayo just ain't it. Jamin Davis, Lord have mercy, Greg. Can he make a tackle? Can you make a tackle? Please, Jamin, can you make a freaking tackle? I mean, but again, he was slated to be what? Second round. But no, it was one of these Ron Rivera moves where, oh no, I know something nobody else knows. What is that, Ron? What is that? What do you know? I mean, it's frustrating because, and the rest of the defense, this D line that is supposed to be setting records. Chase had a decent day. I'll give you that. But outside of that, really? This D line is overrated. Okay, we keep saying that this D line is going to show up and be this miraculous D line that's going to set records and light the league on fire. They're inconsistent. They have plays here and there, but they're inconsistent. And let's get on Jonathan Allen. Really? The same guy that says, oh, we need the fans to show up. You need to show up. And I don't want to hear anything about you being tired of what's going on. You had no problem signing that extension. So if it's so heavy on your heart that you sign that extension, so you had no problem staying in D.C. So I don't hear anything from Jonathan Allen, man. When times are going good, I don't hear nothing out of you. Times are going bad all of a sudden. Oh, the last 7 years. You've been here 6 years. Do the math. 7 years. It's tiring. The defense is overrated, in my opinion. They're overrated. They're inconsistent. The Giants walk down on the field and you like it's nothing. The Bears walk down on you on the field like it was nothing on prime time. Okay? Offense. Eric Bieniemy, inconsistent. Okay? When things are good, we start to say, oh, all right, I kind of see what's going on. I see what he can do in Kansas City. But where you at, man? Daggone well this O-line couldn't guard a parked car. But you keep dropping them back? What are we doing? Look at the rushing yards, Greg. Okay, the highest rusher was 7 rushes for 31 yards by Rodriguez. We're not running the ball. If you know your O-line cannot protect the quarterback, why are you still running pass plays? And I get it, you're from behind, but still, 14-0 is not bad. You get that. And really, the touchdown came because they can't fill the daggone punt. I mean, you take away the bad punt return, and it's 14-0. I mean, we needed them to jack it up for us to get a score. It is frustrating. I'm done. Ron Rivera, this experiment needs to stop. Riverboat Ron. Riverboat, huh? It's more like Titanic, Ron. And look, I'm shout out to 106.7 because they're the one that made that comment. I'm just going to go ahead and piggyback. Titanic, Ron. Riverboat, man. You need to stop gambling because you're losing your money, man. Stop it. I mean, this is atrocious. Head coach needs to go. Defense coordinator needs to go. Bieniemy, maybe you see what he can do with head coach, but right now, I know he just got here, so you can't fire him, but he's been underwhelming to an offensive coordinator. You have the probably is going to be the worst O-line in NFL history, and you're dropping your quarterback back that many times. This is not on Sam Howell. I do not believe we need to look for a quarterback next year. I think he is the guy that we've been looking for, a franchise quarterback. But we need to invest very heavily in this offensive line. All right, we have the pieces as far as receiver because Jahan Dawson is sitting over there like Can I get in? Can I put me in, coach? It's like, Logan Thomas can't even hold, ball's going through his hands. It's a mess, man. I'm gonna go ahead and step off because I can sit here for probably next couple hours just getting pissed off at his team. But I'm gonna hand the mic over. But this is it, man. This is the end of the Ron Rivera era. He's gotta go. Change is gonna happen because you best believe with Josh Harris and Magic Johnson, man. Look, they're gonna make some changes. They're gonna go out there, whether it's during the year or next year, they're gonna go find that coach, man. And they need to because Ron Rivera is not it here in DC.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know how that you keep Ron Rivera, how you retain him for another year. I mean, he's good as gone. One thing that I want to say about Eric Bieniemy is that, when you have a great offensive line, you got a quarterback like Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
You got basically a Super Bowl team that was built for you, not built by you, but built for you. It's very easy to call plays. It's very easy to call a lopsided type of, it's pass heavy. It's Patrick Mahomes is dropping back every single time or whatnot.
Yeah.
But the thing is that you don't have that in Washington. You got to play to your players' strengths. And this team was built to run the football. And you could see it because you got like Chris Rodriguez played really well today. Very underutilized.
Yeah.
Brian Robinson had kind of a tough day today. But in general, Brian Robinson plays very well for you. And then you got Antonio Gibson who comes in and runs the football very well for you as well. So, I mean, we are built to run the football. And that's always been our keys to games week in and week out. Now, you can sit back and say it's very easy for, a couple of no-name fans to sit back and, decide how an NFL team is supposed to win. It's like go back and play your Madden football on your PlayStation. But I'm like, honestly, though, the thing is that we're not really saying anything that nobody else is not seeing, I guess is what I'm trying to say. It is what this team was built on. And what I can't understand is Eric Bieniemy, regardless, he's seen his quarterback getting sacked, getting blown up. I mean, you had a Giants defense that came in with only 5 sacks, I think, for the entire season up to that point.
Yeah.
And they had 4 sacks that I know of in this game, maybe more than that toward the end. I'll lose count after a while. But most of those came in the first half. What does that tell you? And, Eric Bieniemy keeps dropping Sam Howell back. And why? Why are you doing that? Finally, he woke up and started rolling Howell out to the left, out to the right, and that's great. That's exactly what you need to do, and that was one thing that I was kind of questioning, like, why are you not moving your quarterback out of the pocket, knowing that your offensive line is trash? At least try to move him, and that seemed to work pretty well. But you're still putting all the pressure on him, and you have to because, you're being so hard-headed in your play calling at the beginning. It's like they were talking about at the beginning, like, the Commanders are showing their commitment to the running game, and I'm like, I don't see this. I'm seeing the same exact run plays that usually net them about 1 or 2 yards, and I'm like, where are the run plays that are, creative? You can't just have that one formation all the time. It's like they do everything out of that one formation all the time.
Yeah.
And I just don't get it. To me, it's almost the reverse of what people used to bag on Joe Gibbs about when he came back the second time. They were like, oh my dear Lord, his offense is ancient. because, he doesn't want to, put his quarterback in the shotgun. He wants to, run out of that single back formation and, try to do like the counter trays and all this stuff. But I mean, the point being is that I'm not seeing any creativity out of Eric Bieniemy, and I'm seeing him continuing week in and week out, not making any adjustments or making adjustments too late, or just, I mean, when we have already gotten so far behind the other team. Now, we are only 14 points down, but still, the way that this momentum and stuff was going in this game, that was kind of killer today, because this offense did absolutely nothing. I mean, it was so anemic. And that's when I realized, I don't even think Eric Bieniemy's the answer. Now, I did read
Yeah.
I did read an article earlier that suggested what Josh Harris and company may want to consider is bringing in an interim GM that has, the task of firing
Yeah.
the coaching staff and elevating Eric Bieniemy, saying, okay, you're going to be giving that interim head coaching shot, and you're going to be auditioning basically probably for other teams, but you're going to be auditioning as a head coach. What can you do to, bring this team back? Let's see what happens. At this point, I don't think that it's that bad of an idea.
Yeah.
And this intern GM can just kind of start the process of the cleaning house. And it doesn't necessarily mean that this intern GM is going to be the guy moving forward, but it kind of starts the process. Honestly, I think at this point, why not? Because you're already seeing that the same thing is happening this year. That happened last year, that happened the year before that, year before that. There's been absolutely no improvement for this team. And I mean, if you sit back, Brandon, and you look, can you tell me any player on this team that has greatly improved from last season? I mean, Terry McLaurin is always going to be the guy. I love him to death. He's my favorite player. Jahan Dotson was supposed to have this breakout year. Instead, he has been a ghost, a ghost of himself.
Yeah.
He did have a catch here and there, but dropped a very catchable. I know the pass was not perfect, but he still should have caught that pass.
Yeah.
Would have at least given the Commanders a 1st and goal. Probably could have tied up the game, but I have not seen anybody improve at all on either side of the ball, honestly. I really have not. Maybe you could say Chase Young because he's been injured.
Yeah.
And I have definitely, I mean, he's back. I mean, he's healthy. And I thought he played really well today.
Yeah.
He was a difference maker today. But other than that, I have not seen anybody that has greatly improved at all. And that is very telling of your coaching staff. Some of the decisions that Ron continues to make in-game decisions is mind-boggling, and it's very telling. And then him, chewing on the officiating crew on that intentional grounding call. As much as I hated it, it was the right call. It really was.
Yeah.
I hate it. I hate to say that, but it was the right call. And all of that fire and all of that he had on those officials, and saying that you effed us up, twice now, hey, it's great that you got on them and you didn't remember, or that you remembered what they did to us last year. But at the end of the day, where was all that fire and stuff? You know, way back a couple of weeks ago when we needed it against the Bears. You know, you let your own players just talk amongst themselves. Did you even give them a pep talk at halftime of this game? I mean, Ron Rivera looks like he's checked out. Jack Del Rio looks like he's lost. I mean, I will say the defense, I thought, you know, for the overall body of work today, played well. But there were times where they did give up some big plays, especially a big play that was kind of a very close. Was it a catch? Was it not a catch?
Yeah.
You know, St. Juice had got burnt. And actually, they did put Forbes in for at least a play. But he was a non-factor, but he was in there. You know, but overall, Brandon, you know, as far as Eric Bieniemy goes, I think maybe you elevate him as the head coach interim for this year.
Yeah.
You hire GM to just go ahead and start the process. You might as well. You know you're not making the playoffs this year. There's not going to be another run. There's just not. Go ahead and start the process now.
Yeah.
Get ahead of the game. Hopefully you're going to be the first ones to get the coach you want next season. And also be the first ones to get the GM that you need to get. Get on top of that now and start that process. And then start evaluating the players that you want to keep to move forward to yet rebuild again. Go ahead and do it because there's no sense in keeping Ron Rivera and company now. You know, and I think Ron knows that. I appreciate what he has tried to do in Washington, but his time is up. JDR's time is up. Eric Bieniemy, square peg round hole in my opinion. I just don't think that I think he's showing us that he just doesn't know how to play to his players' strengths. He continues to put Sam Howell in a dangerous situation. Doesn't seem to understand how to protect his quarterback. And yeah, he understands his offensive line is trash, but he waits too long to make adjustments. You know that your quarterback has been sacked over, 36, 37 times. You should already be moving him around. That should be a permanent thing within your offensive plan to begin with. Why are you not already doing that? So I don't think any of these guys are it. I'm ready to move on from it. I think this ownership, I know Magic Johnson's ready.
Oh yeah.
You know, I bet you $1 he's ready. You know, Josh Harris, he's going to kind of play the Mr. Nice Guy, just glad to be here. You know, he doesn't want to be the villain. He doesn't want to be the bad guy. But the fans want more, and they deserve it. So let's go ahead and start it now. Let's start that process now, and just go ahead and say that obviously this season is a wash. I mean, you're almost at the midway point of the season. You're likely to be 3-5. I hate to say it, but you're likely to be 3-5 next week. You know, even if you do beat the Eagles and you're 4-4, I mean, honestly, at the rate we're going, does 9-8 sound okay to you at the end of the season? Doesn't me. It doesn't matter if it's 9-8 or if it's, you know, I don't know, 7-10 or 6-11 or whatever. To me, it's all the same because you're not going to make the playoffs. So I will probably go ahead and shut up on that. But you know, folks, I know that we're all frustrated. If there's any silver lining in any of this, I will say we do have some good players some good foundation, so it's not a total loss. I don't think you have to come in and say, let's just wipe out all of the players, because you do have some good players on this team. Um, and I agree with you, Brandon. I think we've got a very good quarterback. He's got to be protected, and when he's protected, he's got time. He can be just as good as any other quarterback in this league. I've seen it. Just it's been few and far between because he hasn't had the time. But when he has the time, he's dynamite. I mean, he's right on target. So you know, stick with that. You got a quarterback. You've got some good players on the offense. You got some good players on defense, but you've got to have the right coaching staff. Honestly, I think the right coaching staff in there and the right front office that can come in and fill in the gaps, it won't take long to have this team where Ron Rivera should have had this team by this point. So,
Yep.
anything else, Brandon?
Nah, I think the only thing I will cover, like I said, I'm a firm believer that we need to start selling off assets, man. I don't think we should pay this whole D line. Sweat or Young, I think one of them need to be traded for another draft pick.
Which
Try to get
which
some,
what which one would you keep?
man. That's I would keep Young, and I'm gonna tell you why. I'm a Chase Young fan, but with his injury history, the organization has more leverage when it comes to a dollar amount, as far as getting him re-signed. Whereas Sweat, he's going to demand a little bit of money, man. But
Hmm.
if we're trying to, because we need a lot of help in this next draft, man, especially the O line. I'm definitely trying to get a couple more picks in this next upcoming draft because look, round one, I'm going to give me a left tackle. I'm just saying,
Yeah,
I'm getting. I mean, you got to get that left tackle. I mean, Trent Williams, man. I mean, now do you miss him? I mean, you know,
I've missed them all along.
you know what I mean? It's just
Yeah,
look at the schedule, man. I mean, the Eagles, I'm that ain't gonna be pretty.
no,
At New England, they just beat the Bills. At
yeah,
Seattle, Geno Smith has been playing well. You might beat the Giants at home, but then you got to go to Dallas. You're home against Miami. You're at LA, who's been playing good ball. The Jets, we'll see, but Brees Hall, I mean, then you got the 49ers and Cowboys. We might win two more games. Might. We are a top 10 draft pick team right now.
yeah,
Because can you really depend on this team to beat anybody? The Bears and Giants are so embarrassing, man. I mean, you can look at the Bills game and say, yeah, we got smoked by the Bills, but the Bills have Super Bowl intentions. The Bears and the Giants, they put their backup quarterback out there. You had half their line in street clothes laughing on the sideline. I mean, I'm done, man. It's time for changes. It's time to start taking those steps towards kind of, I'm not going to say rebuild, but kind of a reboot. We definitely need O line help. I think as far as talent on the offensive side, I think we're good receiver wise. Now, I like Brian Robinson, man, but maybe you go out there and get, you know, I don't know. I mean, we talked about Jonathan Taylor. Um, Brian Robinson, he's a bruiser, man, but he's got to get better vision. I mean, and I know that it has a lot to do with the line. So I'm intrigued to see what he can do with a good O line. Definitely give him a chance, booster up the O line and then see what you got in Brian Robinson. I think Rodriguez is going to be something special. And Tony Gibson, I think, is more of a guy who's kind of a Swiss Army knife. I'm not going to depend on him to be a lead back because how many times do you need a fumble for? I mean, I'm
right.
done with him being a lead back. Defensively, needs work. We need a new coordinator, and the secondary. Go out there and spend some money. Go get a legit shutdown corner. And then if you can try to work with Forbes, see what he can do, see if you can get him back to the way he was in Mississippi State. Then maybe you got a couple of good corners, but Kendall Fuller ain't it at number one, and just St. Juice ain't it at all. He needs to go. Linebacker we got to find linebackers, man. Cody Barton ain't it. We'll see how he goes. Mayo ain't it. Jamin Davis, look, 5th-year option decline. So because I don't see what I mean, he misses tackles too much. I mean, it's yeah, I'm done, man. It's just we need some work and it starts now. We need to go ahead and hit the reset button right now. So yeah, I'm done, man.
Well, folks, we are both done, and I know you guys are done too. But let us know in the comments. I mean, I know in my last few videos that I put out, especially in the mornings, there were some Ron fans. You know, there were some people out there who are very adamant that he's going to get things going. That they're starting to see. Yeah, absolutely. I can't see it, but I want that same person to come back and tell me that everything's great with Ron Rivera. I want him to come back and because he gave me this long thing. I couldn't even read the whole thing. I didn't have time to read it on air. So, you know, let me know in the comments, folks. Besides this gentleman, do we still have any people left that have faith in Ron Rivera and company? If you do, I mean, keep it clean, but you know, let us know in the comments why you still have faith in Ron Rivera and why you think maybe he deserves one more shot under this ownership into his what would be his lame duck year as head coach. Let us know because I can't see it. And I'm usually one who has been one of Ron Rivera's biggest fans, and I'm done with him. So let us know that. Let us know how well we did in this video. I know it's 30 minutes long, but you know what? Sometimes you gotta kind of get it out on air, and so we are. But besides that, if you enjoy this channel, please, subscribe to us. We need those subscriptions. We need that interaction. We need those likes, those shares. We'll take what we can get, folks. Brandon, you got anything else, buddy?
No, sir. I think I might have to take me a shot tonight, man, just to
Yeah.
kind of make up for the game today.
Yeah.
So, I appreciate everybody showing up, man, showing us love. Again, like Greg said, definitely subscribe, man. You know, we're gonna have, regardless of what's going on with the team, we have a lot of good content
Yes.
we're gonna put out this year. So definitely tune in. So
Regardless, win, lose, or draw, folks, we're not going away. We're going to be here with you through it all, through the tears, through the joy. So you just bear with us, folks. All right, that's going to do it for us. We will see you later on in the week. I'll try to put out some streams sometime in the mornings. So be looking forward to that as well. And then Brandon and I will be back to probably talk about our studs and duds
yep.
later on in the week. And of course, we will also be bringing you some content as far as the upcoming game against the Philadelphia Eagles. All that being said, take care. Have a great evening or whenever it is you actually start watching this video. And with that said, we will see you in the next one. Take care, everybody.